Brace yourselves, winter is coming. What the writers of Game of Thrones didn't want to tell you is that Bran was actually in a wheelchair because he didn't trim his balls with Manscaped. Poor guy thought it was okay to trim his balls with a traditional razor or hair trimmer. Not sure what you want as a gift for the holidays? Well, Manscaped is the ultimate gift, and they're here to change the men's grooming game, and you can get 20% off plus free shipping if you use the code AgeOfRadio at manscaped.com. It's time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving this holiday. I'm talking about the Manscaped Perfect Package 4.0. The Performance Package 4.0 is the best in the business. This hygiene bundle includes the Lawnmower 4.0, Weed Whacker, boxers, travel kit, and liquid formulations. On top of everything, they even throw in the Shed travel bag to carry your goods and the Manscaped anti-chafing briefs to hold the entire package together. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AgeOfRadio at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code AgeOfRadio. It's time to join the Manscaped movement. These products are no joke.
Age of Radio.
Hey, Joe! What's up, my man?
Just chilling, Steven.
Hey, you want to check out this movie I rented at the Blockbuster?
Sounds cool.
It's got that chick that was in our videos. Hold on. Let me look through the list of ladies I tried to bone. Some of which was successful. Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, yeah. She's a sweet girl. She's in a movie?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's in a movie and I got it right here. So pop that in and just press play.
Oh. Dude, I'm not super comfortable with a lot of stuff that's going on in this movie.
Oh, me neither. And I'm a huge bag of shit. Wah!
You know when I pick a movie, that's when I'm under pressure now. The question always comes back to me, what were they thinking now? Whoa, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Oh, welcome, folks. That's right. It's crazy and kind of amazing that we're living on the edge here at What Were They Thinking? A podcast about bad to questionable movies. And this week we're talking about the direct-to-video movie True Crime. No, not that one. That one went to theaters. This one has actually alternatively titled Dangerous Kiss with Alicia Silverstone and the Dillon that's not Matt. But I can't gonna do this on my own. As always, I got my co-host, my good buddy, the Steven Tyler to my Joe Perry. Wait a second, I'm supposed to be the lead singer in this situation. No, you can be Steven Perry.
I could be Stephen Perry?
Yeah, Steve Perry.
You mean Joe Perry?
Joe Perry? Steven Tyler.
Who's on first?
There we go. That's right.
Yes, I'm Brendan. I'm here as well. And man, after this movie, I needed a shower.
And to expunge your search history on the internet.
Just the fact that I searched for this movie, I think I could be put in jail.
You're on one of those. Yeah, you're on one of those blue dot sites for sure. That's why I use a VPN.
Oh man, it's this and the Keira Knightley Dr. Zhivago movie from like 2002. Like I'm going to prison.
Well, we could have done Crush and it would have landed us in the same situation. So.
Yeah, I feel like in that one it's more implied though, as we'll find out in this. It's not so implied.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, kind of, but you know.
Well, it's the movie's called Crush for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And this one's called True Crime for a reason.
See,
because that's definitely a true crime.
That Crush in The Crush, that movie, as stupid as that movie is, knows that it's a wrong thing to happen. I feel like this movie doesn't as much, and that's what was more upsetting.
Okay, well, we'll explore that in graphic detail when we get.
Oh,
to it.
Nathan, this movie, you missed a third alternative title for this movie.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it was also, I don't know where it was titled this, but it was also called, hilariously, True Detective.
So not only is this movie shares the name from another really good movie, it shares the name of a really good television show. Well, the first season, anyways.
And literally a whole genre of podcasts that I'm sure this movie inspired.
Oh yeah.
Phoebe Judge watched this movie and she was like, "I've got it."
Get myself a filing cabinet, all kinds of true crime magazines,
and a folder marked True Crime. Anyway,
made up of one of the covers of the said magazine,
which is the fakest magazine cover I've ever seen. But anyway,
well, you know those. We'll get into that when we get to that. Yeah. So this movie, I don't got a whole lot on, and I know it went straight to video. I found it one night whilst inebriated on Prime and figured it would be perfect because it's an Alicia Silverstone movie that I had not seen, which is a definite rarity for me because I had a big crush. See what I did there? For Alicia Silverstone ever since I first saw her in the Aerosmith videos, back when I was the mere slip of a youth.
And let's make it very clear, Nathan was of appropriate age at the time.
Yeah, I was like 15, so it's cool.
Yeah. I think she's only.
Yeah.
I think you're close to her age. I think she's only a couple years old on you.
I think so.
Yeah.
So this, it went straight to video. I watched it that night and was like, yeah, this is a pile of dog shit. We should cover it for the show. And the rest is history. Plot. The plot for this thing, as it goes, Alicia Silverstone, plays Alicia Silverstone.
I don't even know what her character's name is.
Is it like Maribeth or something?
Oh, I think it is Mary. Yeah. Well, you know what? She's Alicia Silverstone in the movie.
The only reason why I say that is because, well, they're apparently very Catholic, except for her brother. But we'll get into that. She plays a girl who is just absolutely enamored with, wanting to be a police officer, wanting to be a detective, a true crime. She wants to solve this murder that happened before the movie started in her hometown. This whole thing certainly does play out like a USA detective television show pilot, for sure. She often runs afoul of her mentor, who is played by Bill Nunn, who's one of the he's like the chief detective, I guess, at her local PD, because she teams up with the guy from Entourage, Matt Dillon's brother, Kevin.
That's right. She teams up with me.
And they team up together to solve this mystery, and hilarity ensues.
It's funny that you said
also severe, I think a class A or B felony ensues as well.
And it's funny that you said Kevin Dillon was in this movie because I thought it was Skeletor.
He's very angular in this, is he not?
He is looking gaunt in this movie. I was concerned for his health.
So, yeah, let's pitter patter. Let's get at her. Sooner begun, sooner done. Don't bore us and get to the chorus. We open up with a try mark, so you know it's good.
Yeah, and music that I could only describe in my notes as haunting shitbag music.
Right. This is where, if we are watching it on Prime, this is where we first see that the movie is titled Dangerous Kiss. And it makes you think, did I pick pretty sure I picked True Crime, not this one called Dangerous Kiss. And then I see Kevin Dillon, Alicia Silverstone. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm the right one. This must have an alternate title, kind of like, Die Hard 4.0, which is a way better title than Live
Always
Free or
the
Die
sign.
Hard.
Always the sign. I mean, outside of Die Hard, always the sign of a great movie when there's multiple titles.
Multiple titles, yeah. We as I mentioned before, there's a murder that happens in their small town. We get snippets of it in what looks like the worst Soundgarden video ever. And then we just cut into Alicia Silverstone taking notes. I'm pretty sure it's Mary Beth. I'm pretty sure it's. Again, she's Catholic, so more than likely her first name's Mary. We're pretty safe with that. If there's hardcore, no, she's their family is hardcore Catholic. By the looks of it, when this movie
has
going.
this movie has a weird religious bend to it, and
Yeah.
I was like surprised by it when like later on we'll talk about it, the big moment, but like when it happened I was like, wait a secend.
Yeah,
What?
there's all kinds of stuff in here where you're kind of thrown for a loop, where they're like, oh, they're expounding these these hardcore Catholic beliefs, and that's kind of one of the undertones of it. So much so, I actually have a couple notes in there. Is it, did Pureflix write her character?
Just her character.
Yeah, and then but there's later where another fundamentalist who I think is Baptist by the spiel that he's given off, he starts going off about some stuff, and like a cop who's trying to help solve the crime is like, yeah, okay, whatever, crazy, just tell me what I need to know. So it's really not it does not settle one way or the other which way they think we should be leaning.
No, this movie
No.
doesn't spell it out for us, as
No.
unlike every other thing in the movie.
Right. So she's taking notes on murder and things like that. Her friends are trying to get her to come out to party, but she's not having any of it. She's gotta study her crime notes, so she's gonna solve this murder. We wake up in the morning feeling shy and lonely. Gee, I gotta go to school. I don't think I could take it. Oh wait, sorry, went off into Degrassi mode there for a minute.
Let's not skip over the fact that she had, again, a bunch of file folders, one of which
Yes.
was just labeled true crime.
As
As if
she is
the other one.
she's absolutely infatuated with not just solving this crime, but true crime magazines,
Yeah.
which were a thing. I don't know if don't think they still are. Everyone just gets their true crime stuff from podcasts now.
What I was confused about, though, is just like, what are the other folders? Like, isn't all this stuff true crime? Like, what are you putting in the other ones? Like recipes? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, well, and what do you want from a kind of unimaginative high school student? Remember that. This is really important to this plot. She is in high school.
And despite this movie coming out in 1996, let's also remember that Alicia Silverstone was actually only about 16 when this movie was filmed. So just want to put that in there too.
Just get ready to, yeah. We get up, and they're getting ready for school and everything like that. Apparently, I don't know, the brother, he didn't look like he was old enough to be graduated, but he wasn't dressed in private school clothes. He wasn't going to school. He's sitting there playing Doom. So I'm like, okay, they're trying to say they're just kind of, even though the girls are going to private school, it's still a normal family, until we find out that mom found some dial candies, which are also known as birth control pills, and just has an absolute conniption fit at her younger daughter about having birth control pills. To what I noted, yeah, shame on you for being responsible.
How old is that younger daughter supposed to be, though?
Well, I think she is in, she would be in like a junior high or middle school type.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not so much that it was the necessarily the sexing that was bothering her. I think it was the fact that she was using birth control pills, because it is my understanding is, even now, but especially, then a lot of like folks who are very fundamentalist Catholic don't use any form of contraception.
See, I didn't even put the religious stuff into it. I thought she was just like, you're too young to be fucking, basically.
Yeah, any parent who ever thinks that, you're dumb and lying to yourself.
By the way, that girl is Marla Sokolov.
Yes.
She was she was, I think, Sean William Scott's girlfriend in Dude, Where's My Car? And she was in something else that we talked about a while back, too.
Yeah, she's done
She's
some
been in
work.
stuff.
Yeah. And so, but that's okay. Sister Mary Beth is, that makes her sound like a nun. She's to the rescue and says, no, they're Ashley's or somebody's. I was just holding on to them for her so she didn't get in trouble. Basically pulling her sister's butt out of the fire. And she says to her sister, okay, we're going to need to talk about this, trying to be the good, responsible older sister, and their little sister, in true little sister form, or little sibling form, anyways. Not thanks for saving my ass from mom, but no. Get bent, Miss Perfect.
Yeah.
Ungrateful little brat.
Yeah, and by the way, how is that an insult? I would have loved to be married to Mr. Perfect.
Well, I mean,
I guess Miss Perfect would be his ex-wife.
Yeah, or a related, like his sister.
Well, I mean, that'd be cool too.
Yeah.
To be able to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Hope that you don't get on his side where he wants to pull a prank on you, though.
No, good Lord, yeah. Then you get, next thing you know, you're falling asleep at a bar in a hotel because you slipped you some sleeping pills while you were in the bathroom.
Yeah, or take a shit under your ring. You never know.
Never. That was done more out of a need of a necessity than a prank, though.
True. Well, I gotta go, I guess.
And then you had to stay under there for the entire duration of the show.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You gotta go. You're gonna hold it in, get out, do your spot, and shit your pants in the middle of the ring.
3 hours of wrestling. Thank God they don't do that anymore. Wait a second.
But Dangerous Kiss.
Yes. Yes. True Detective.
Right. We find out that that Alicia Silverstone goes to Our Lady of High School.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's like Our Lady High School. It was not.
Geez.
Yeah. But either way, it might as well just be Our Lady of High School, because usually most Catholic schools that are Our Lady, they're not just Our Lady Middle School. It's Our Lady of something.
Like a Jesus college.
Usually it's like, Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, or Our Lady of, Eternal Redemption, or whatever. It's not Our Lady High School.
And Nathan, I know this movie is, and I know we do this for almost every movie. It seems like we're doing this for a lot of movies lately, but the least believable part in this whole movie comes up here because Alicia Silverstone is talking to her friend and she's like, "Ugh, I'm butt ugly. I'll never get a date. Fuck you, movie."
To which
Fuck
I
you.
wrote, Alicia Silverstone, total fuggo.
Ugh, Jesus.
They're talking about things that I went to secular school like most kids in my area, and even when I was in high school, when this movie, or junior high and into high school, when this movie would have been newish, there was 2 Catholic schools in St. John, but they weren't ones where you had to wear uniforms. They still had some some religious classes for students who were Catholic that went to them, but for the most part, St. Malachy's was a co-ed school, and St. Vincent's was an all-girls school, but they all kind of just, both of them were together, so if they had a dance, it was both schools. They didn't call it an exchange dance, which I thought was weird. But yeah. I got the idea that, it's when the school has a dance, and the boys from the all-boys school can come to the school to have a dance, or the girls can invite a boy to the school for the dance. It all seemed very strange to me, but I mean, private schools have always seemed kind of strange to me.
And then that's where they brush up against each other and immediately have multiple orgasms because they haven't felt human touch in so long.
Right. We've come to find out that one of the girl who did get killed was actually a girl who was younger than Alicia Silverstone. Actually went to school with her sister at, I'm guessing, Our Lady of Middle School.
Yep.
And her older sister is in the same classes as Alicia Silverstone, and in perfect timing, during one of the classes, the girls are reciting the hierarchy of whatever. And it's basically to say that that nothing happens on Earth, in God's creation without some sort of, everything happens for a reason, basically, good or bad. And this is happening just as the girl whose kid sister was brutally murdered comes in. And the nun doesn't go, "Oh, you know what? Maybe we should talk about this later." No, she doesn't do that.
No, maybe let's talk about happier Bible stuff for a bit.
Right. No, let's not do that. Let's remind this girl that her sister was brutally murdered, and God wanted that to happen.
And then the best part is, so that girl's name, the girl in the class, his name is Margie. And one of my favorite parts that I mean, one of the biggest laughs I got was she puts her hand up and the nun says, "Yes, Margie," and then she just runs out of the class like that.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't say anything. She just, "Yes," boom, 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 boom. Runs out. That was a hoot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a structure. way of looking at things. It's kind of like God gave us this plan, and if we have faith in it and follow its rules, He'll protect us. In God's world, there's a reason for everything.
Yes, Margie. Margie?
After school, as you know, most teenagers in their 12th grade year are wont to do, they go to visit the local police detective captain and talk to them about the case. And she actually gives him some shit about not doing his job. And I'm like, here, you know what? There's really nothing that winds me up more when someone says that somebody else should do their job, having never ever done that job ever once in life.
I did find their relationship not weird, like creepy, but it was just weird because she shows up and it's seemingly they have like a father-daughter thing because her father was a cop who died in the line of duty, so he's kind of like keeping an eye on her or whatever.
But she also wants to be a police officer, so not only there's the father-daughter thing, but there's also kind of a mentor thing that he's doing with her as well, which is the only reason I can think of as to why she gets the amount of latitude that she gets in this movie.
She does, but he also follows that up very quickly when he gets angry and calls her a little bitch. And I was like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now to be fair, she is pretty mouthy for someone who's never actually done detective work.
I get that. I was just shocked that based on their relationship they're trying to set up here, that he would just like go to that level so quickly.
You do not have children.
I just thought it was startling.
I have gone from 0 to 60 with my kid. If the situation is just right and she says something absolutely wrong at the wrong time, he has clearly dealing with this case, which is a very big case for their little town, and it's very important that this case get cleared and they find out who killed this girl. He's absolutely under a lot of stress trying to figure this out. He doesn't need some mouthy high school kid coming in and saying he's not doing his job when all he has been doing is doing his job.
Nathan, the relationship they have formed, the bond they had formed is strong. He helped her.
I would scream my face off at my kid if she told me to do my job when that's all I do is my job.
He helped her build her Folsom Prison model
diorama, yeah.
And the Jeffrey Dahmer research project.
What?
Why is she doing a Jeffrey Dahmer research? She is very young.
Well, it's for school, but it's not for like a modern history class. It's actually for communion class, for the consuming of flesh and drinking of the blood and everything.
That would be, now that I think about it, why would a Catholic school be like, hey, can you tell us about Jeffrey Dahmer?
Well, everything seems by the boards here. He ate flesh and drank the blood, which is what we do every Sunday.
Body of Christ.
Yeah.
He was just a very confused man who thought everyone was Christ. She goes to the pool next, and that's where I overheard some very funny, like, well, let's just throw this background dialogue. No one's going to pay attention because these two girls are talking, and one of them's like, I took off my top, then my underwear. No way! Then he took off his pants. What did you do?
And Alicia gets all weirded out about the sex stuff, so much so that she has to go back underwater. The reason why she's at the pool is because she's trying to get into the mindset of the poor girl who was murdered, because she was also a swimmer. And this is where she overhears the sex stuff of the other two girls talking, and she has to go on her.
So awkwardly delivered.
But here, I would, if it was the younger sister. Well, okay, not her younger sister, but someone of the age of the younger sister in this movie, overhearing that and getting all kerfuffled and, moral dilemma, don't know what to do. I could understand that. Anybody who was in grade 12 ever would have not blink an eye about hearing this sort of stuff or be prudish about it. That I've ever met anyways. Mm-hmm. This is where we get our first glimpse of Skeletor. Dillon, Dillon,
Johnny Rama,
right? And when I first saw this movie, I was like, "That's the killer, 1000%. That's the killer."
Having never seen this movie, I did the same thing.
Right.
I was like, oh, there he is. Cool. Mystery solved.
Yep. Because he looks sketchy as fuck.
He's just creeping around the pool. And
Yep.
I think he looks at someone's bag, and then he's
And
talking to those.
Yeah. Do you guys have girlfriends? I mean, do you have boyfriends? You guys are a little young to have boyfriends. You don't have like, it's like, dude, you're easily in your 20s. What are you doing talking to middle school kids about having boyfriends at the public pool?
Oh, Kevin Dillon was 30 when this movie was made.
Okay. So
I'm just so there you go.
But Alicia Silverstone was 18, so I think we're playing with an age thing. But the fact that he is in the police academy, not the really entertaining one where people make cool motor voices and Bubba Smith is there, but the local police academy, where you could apparently take your exam and find out your mark that afternoon.
Yep.
He's got to at least be, and if he's on the cusp of graduating said police academy, he's got to be at least 23, 24.
And again, I want to reiterate, Alicia Silverstone may be playing 17 because she's graduating, but she is actually like 16.
Right. She sees Skeletor talking to the girls and decides he's a suspect. I need to follow him. And rightfully so, given the way he looks and what he was talking about.
And based on the girl's response to when she says, "Have you ever seen him?" Sure, he's been hanging out here a lot.
Yep. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Yikes.
very much so. Yikes. And she follows him, and she's going to do some surveillance here with her Olympus 35mm camera, which really made me feel kind of old. And another thing that makes her perfectly correct in assuming that he's the killer is that at one point he comes home, opens up, goes into his house, and just stands there, lovingly posing with his gun.
Yep.
Like just standing there, like looking at it, like, oh, this gun. Like it's only serial killers and MAGAs would do this. This gun makes me so hot.
Yeah, it's replacement for his dick. Yeah.
Right. We get some more pictures of or glimpses of the carnival.
Yeah, that shot of the cotton candy dropping into the puddle and melting, that is cinema.
Haunting. It's just, all I can say when I saw it, there was a shot of the zipper, and I was like, the zipper did it. 100% that was the murderer.
By the way, the movie
if the tilt-a-whirl had been in there, I would have accused that too.
By the way, the movie shows like multiple times imagined scenarios where Kevin Dillon is the killer. And I'm just like, you can't keep showing that to me and try to make me think that maybe he's not. Like,
right.
It's so obvious from the flashbacks.
And we get the next thing that we get treated to is Skeletor Dillon is following Alicia Silverstone. And she's trying to play it cool like she didn't notice it. She sucks at playing it cool to make it look like she didn't notice it. Because I have a note here, la la la, walking inconspicuously, just not minding my own business. I didn't see him there, la 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 la.
And then running like fuck into
full
her
on
house.
running like remote. And then we see that she is then studying lockpicking, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of weird stuff that she does that is definitely outside of the normal behavior of any high school student.
And then the weird thing is her mom is like, "Hey, I need you to go run a few errands at the mall for me. How about, Alicia, you just stay there? No, not really feeling up to it since this creep followed me home. Maybe we should find out who he is."
Yeah.
Instead, she's like, I guess so.
And it's just the part where she fucking maces him at the 7-Eleven.
It's unregistered mace, Nathan.
Yeah, unregistered mace, but
which I have questions.
Like when it first happened, I was like, yes, you know what? That is the right thing for her to do. She's already seen that he's been at the local pool talking to middle school kids about having boyfriends, has confirmed that he has been lurking around the public pool for the last few weeks. Got pictures of him just standing, lovingly caressing his gun. And then him following her, not once, but 2 days in a row now. So yeah, she's right to mace this guy who gets a little too close to her personal space at the 7-Eleven.
Do you have to register your mace though? I don't think that's a thing.
You know what? We should we should maybe just put a thing out to Steve and Izzy, because this does happen in the state of California.
There you go.
Does your mace have to be registered in the state of California, Izzy and Steve?
That seemed like a made-up thing, because following that, we immediately find out...
It is a weapon. I mean, really.
Yeah, but we find out that Kevin Dillon is a cadet, because they go to the chief or whatever, and that's when he says to Alicia Silverstone, he's like, I'm gonna ticket you for the unregistered mace. And I was like, what? And then he also says, hey, you did this to him, you take him home. What?
Right. She's in high school. He is in his 20s. That is not how this works. You are supposed to be the head detective. You do not send unaccompanied minors with just randos. Just because he is a cadet doesn't mean that Bill Nunn knows him.
Right.
So he should not be like, you know what? Just you take him home.
Yeah. Also, this is the guy that Alicia's late father has entrusted with her security.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, can you take that 30-year-old man home that you thought was trying to kill you? Yeah, that's what I am. I'm 25. What? Of course.
As they have their little thing that she does take him home, and broaches the idea of them working together, to find out the killer, which he's not too pleased about. He's like, you're a kid, whatever, piss off, I'm not babysitting you.
Which, again, we've just had him say that line, guys, just putting that out there.
Yeah.
We haven't had him say clearly, you're just a kid.
Yeah.
So. And
so she doesn't take too kindly to this, and she's going to show him what just a kid can do. Granted, she's just a kid, and life is a nightmare. But that's a Simple Plan reference for all you folks.
Simple Plan.
That's right.
Get out of town.
Well, you know what? She woke up, it was 7, and she waited till 11 just to figure out that no one would call. She's got a lot of friends, but she don't hear from them. What's another night all alone when you're spending every day on your own, right? So she goes to the local PD and accesses files. You said earlier the most unbelievable part about this movie was that Alicia Silverstone would ever think that she is ugly. I challenge that, good sir, because the desk sergeant, is watching the LA Clippers game, and the LA Clippers are winning. That is the most unbelievable part of this movie. Get at me, Steve. Am I right? Am I right? I know I'm right.
I don't know sports enough, so I don't know.
Okay. The LA Lakers, they're the other team in LA, are the ones that everyone goes to see. The LA Lakers. If you want to go see good basketball and you can take out a mortgage, you can go hang out with Jack Nicholson and watch the LA Lakers play. If you don't have that kind of money, pay a few bucks and go see the Clippers get the shit kicked out of them.
Paul Shear's going to be so mad at you.
Let's see. That was exactly how it was explained to me by I guess exchange student. I don't know if it's exchange or just because he was from America. You know, I suppose it's technically I guess it's still technically an exchange student.
Get out of our damn land!
But my first year in university, there was a kid who lived in L.A. and I had a Clippers cap, like a hat, and not because I liked the Clippers. It was a red corduroy hat, and I just liked the look of the hat. And he said, "Oh, you're a Clippers fan?" And I was like, "No, not really." He said, "No, nobody really is." And that's how he explained to me that, you know, if you wanted to go see like some top-notch basketball be played, but not pay a ton of money, just pay a few bucks and go see a good team kick the shit out of the Clippers. And so the Clippers winning.
Oh shit, that's the Clippers now.
That's probably them there now. Hello. Yes. Yeah, I know the team has gotten better since then. Yes, I'm well aware of how well... Yeah, okay, look, it's just a joke for a podcast. Calm down, LA Clippers. All right? No, I won't Well, I'll see you in court. Good day, sir. No, good day, sir.
Wow. So I guess Nathan's going to be out for a bit. He's going to court with the LA Clippers.
Yeah, I'm going to win. It's the Clippers.
We'll have clips of that on the show. So this movie.
Oh, this movie.
So she picks the lock of the chief.
Yes, because just to call back that she was learning how to pick locks so that she can go pick locks and get access to the files. She does leave rather quickly and walks past a group of cadets, one of which is Skeletor Dillon, and she's got this "look what I found" walk, which she's waving the papers and stuff like that. And rather than be, a normal person and keep walking with his cadet friends, he's like, no, I gotta go see what she's found, and runs out of the police station, not in any sort of suspect way at all.
No.
To say to her, I'm sorry about the kid remark, and I do want to work with you on this case. Red flag.
I'm sorry about the kid remark. I now realize you're an adult.
No.
Might as well have been what he said, though.
Don't do that. So they're going to start retracing some of the steps the poor girl had on her last, night on Earth. And she, the first place they go to is the convenience store. And he proceeds to not break, but almost break the clerk's arm. And he wasn't even supposed to be there today. He trashes the guy's stereo, and for good cause, because his music sounded like generic garbage. But
it did sound like butt rock for sure.
It was really terrible.
Fart rock.
He twists his arm and says that the girl came and she brought some cleaning supplies and just stood there and then left. And then he remembers that there was a blue muscle car outside that took off later.
And it's funny because at this point, Alicia's obviously very like, oh shit, like, you just beat the crap out of this guy. Like, what the hell? But me watching this movie, I'm like, oh, maybe he is a cop.
Well, I mean, he is legitimately, yeah, right? But he is in the police academy.
Yeah.
Assignment Miami Beach. And they're there. He's been taking the actual courses, so he's going to be a full-on cop. It's not a situation where, like, oh, maybe he is studying this stuff. He legit is. But then every exchange that they have, I don't know if it's the dialogue or the delivery, but there's something that makes everything they say and do ridiculous.
It's probably a little bit of both. I mean, the delivery probably ties into the direction of the movie too.
Yes. My case in point is the next discussion that they have talking about expectations of people and parents, where it confides in her that his dad wanted him to be a diver.
As all parents do.
Right? That seemed weird to me.
I would think it'd be, because in most things it's like, I want you to be a cop, I want you to be a lawyer, I want you to be a doctor. Not like, nothing against people who want to be divers. That's great. It's wonderful. Follow your dream. But it's not really, it doesn't sound like a thing to me.
Well, if his dad was, I guess, a diver, like when he was in like high school on the diving team or whatever, and that they are things. I know that's a thing.
Sure.
Right, but he explains that he couldn't do that because he was afraid of heights. And that never comes back.
It kind of does.
It doesn't, though.
No,
like when they get to that end part, they
do mention it. They mention it.
Oh,
he mentions that he was terrified when he went up there.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing where you're supposed to be like, wait a second, I thought he was afraid of heights. So it does come back.
But he's not. But that's just it. He doesn't, like, whenever you see someone who's they got afraid of heights in a in a movie or a television show, they end up getting all they get really scared when they're at heights. They get like vertigo.
Much better movie.
They get The Birds.
Much better
they
movie.
Get Dial M for Murder. They
Much
get
better
Rear
movie.
Window.
Much
way
better movie.
And they can't even cope when they're up on those high spots.
But I think that was the thing, though. I think that the whole thing was that this story is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just did it for sympathy. I think that's why later when he's like, "Oh, I didn't think I could get up there. I was terrified." I think you're supposed to believe that he made that whole story up. At least that's what I interpreted. The movie didn't tell us that. That's just what I'm guessing.
Yeah, and it would play into him being like a total sociopath, but I don't think this movie's that smart.
No, I'm just inferring maybe Kevin Dillon, that was like in the back of his head for like acting wise, and the director was like, yeah, sure, shit, I don't care. And she feels real bad for him when he says this, and there's almost a kiss, and I'm like, God help me, God help me.
Why do I have you're always gonna need those glasses? I don't. Why I noted that.
I do not know.
I do note that she has her first. Oh, that's why I wrote that. That's not something that's said in the movie. That's actually a note that I made because of the dream that she has about him.
Mm-hmm.
And she does. And I thought, like, the next thing, because we see her eyes closed and her kind of twisting in her sleep. I'm like, oh, she's gonna be waking up soon. No, she's clearly masturbating in her sleep.
That was alarming. That scene was not necessary at all.
And that's why I wrote, you're always going to need those glasses, because, I've told that you'll go blind. It's a myth, by the way. At least that's what I've been told.
Yeah. Where are you?
I'm right here.
Oh, hey. No, yeah, there's a fucking masturbation scene. It's
tasteful.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a close-up of her hand on her snatch or anything, but, like, fuck, man. But the next day, she's just, like, thumbing through clues, and she decides to go to the carnival.
That's what she was doing the night before, too.
No.
Thumbing through clues.
Oh, she's looking at the board game Clue, and she decides to go visit Professor Plum. No, she goes to the carnival, right? And she goes to talk to the owner, which I thought was going to be a bigger scene, but she just kind of shows up and she's like, hey, I'm doing a project on roving carnivals.
There's a reason why she wanted to go talk to the owner, because when she did wake up, not the time where I thought she was going to wake up when she was actually masturbating, but when she woke up because her clock radio went off. That's also a thing, kids. Clock radios. She's awoken by an ad for the carnival, saying that we've delighted kids and families all up and down the West Coast. And that's when she starts to put together, oh, maybe this killer is a serial killer, and he's killed people in other cities as well. Maybe he's part of this carnival that's traveling, and that's when she decides she's going to go talk to the owner with the super cozy caravan trailer.
It's coming. The caravan's coming. Watch out. But she does. But the thing about that scene is, like, the reason she comes up with is, I'm doing a project on traveling carnivals.
Carnivals, yeah.
And she says, can I have the list of everywhere you've ever been? Of all the places you've gone to. Hey, I know, but it just seems like a research project. You don't need, like, that specific information. You're more looking for, like, information on, like, what carnivals do and, like, what they do when they travel. It just seems very specific.
How many cities have you stopped in lately?
Yeah, like, what kind of travel schedule do you have? Not like, can you tell me every city you've been to?
Yeah.
Just seems suspicious.
Apparently this owner was tricked by her ruse, and she goes back home where she has to convince her brother to hack into the California State DMV.
Hack the planet!
Oh my god. So many things about this scene, but the first one I've had is, does he not go to school? That's where I first account with that, because he's always playing Doom.
He looks younger than her.
He does, and he goes to the exchange dance with them later.
Well, I think his mom wants him to look after her later.
Oh, okay.
So he's like a chaperone.
But I have this. This is my thing. Okay. He is listening to heavy metal. I mean, it's generic heavy metal, but he's listening to heavy metal. He's playing Doom, which is a first-person shooter game with all kinds of satanic imagery in it. But birth control pills are forbidden.
Well, yeah, because that's we can't have the women getting out of control.
Right, we can't have the women making choices for themselves. That'd be ridiculous.
Good on you, Texas.
This is California. So
was it? No, I mean the real thing.
I know what you're getting at. Yeah. So he has to use his dial-up internet to hack into the California DMV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. It makes all the hacking scenes in Hackers look meticulously accurate.
And keep in mind, that's a movie where Penn Jillette was in the internet, which was a giant room of boxes.
Right. So his hacking is he dials like one number and it pops up like a low res computer image of California DMV. Welcome. And then she's like, I need you to find all. It's like, have you ever seen the movie I Don't Want to Live on This Planet Anymore?
No.
Fun little movie. And there's a bonus for, what you watching.
Okay.
I saw it a while ago, but there's a scene where they need to hack into something, and they're like, I need your credit card. They use the credit card. They put in their credit card, and they get all the information. I got it. I'm in. That's their hardcore hacking. That's his hardcore hacking. He dials one fucking number and then has access to the complete DMV database for California and is able to get the license plates for these cars that she wants him to look up.
Yeah, she's like, now give me the license. Give me the types of cars all of these employees drive.
Yeah. After that, we get a glimpse of the glorious life of a cadet, a police academy cadet, where your end tables consist of a found board on a cinder block. Like as soon as Kevin Dillon comes through the door, his there's a lamp, his phone, and they're on like a found 2x4, not 2x4, but a found piece of plywood and a cinder block. Like they're not even up high where it would be convenient for him to put his keys and stuff on. He has to bend down to put his stuff down on his table as he comes through the door.
Which to me, it looks like either he's like an FBI G-man under deep cover or a serial killer.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I know he's not an FBI G-man, so... but she does find out that she can't find the blue car, but she finds out that one man owns all the other kinds of cars that were left at unsolved murder scenes. She cross-checks that. Her research skills are amazing, by the way.
Yes, top notch. Especially for somebody without Google.
Well, yeah. This wouldn't even be this part couldn't even be part of a movie now. It would be a 3-second.
It predates Yahoo.
Oh, what is Jeeves gonna tell me about this?
Yeah, right. Get that web crawler up and get the Alta Vista.
But yeah, she finds out that the suspect that owns almost all those cars, his name is Earl Parkins, and he has the fakest prosthetic deformed hand.
It's like they wrapped his regular hand, which you can kind of see, or with like some shitty fake skin that you would do for like a wound that you would put on to make yourself look like somebody who's been maimed at Halloween.
And I'm just like, oh, he's got a deformed hand. Surely this won't factor into the plot later.
Right. Her and Kevin Dillon are having this discussion about how to handle murderers. He is in favor of shooting and killing murderers. She is more in favor of arresting them, studying them, and finding out what makes them tick, so you can help them and also help prevent further people like them.
Mm-hmm.
To which I have noted here, she's a high school liberal. He's a police academy Republican. This fall on Fox.
Yep. And it would last 2 seasons.
On Fox, yeah, probably.
Yeah, on Fox.
If he did it, I wonder why.
Maybe because he's a freaking maniac?
Murder is a desperate cry for help, someone reaching out. If you can figure out why someone does something, you can help them.
Really?
Yeah.
Bang! A woman's walking down the street, a bullet hits her head. Bang! A plane crashes into a mountain, 300 people dead. Bang! Baby gets leukemia, dies at age 3.
What's your point?
The world is chaotic. Sometimes there are no reasons.
And this scene ultimately doesn't really lead anywhere because they go to the carnival. They see that guy Earl. He acts super creepy, and then they just kind of leave.
Yeah, and they I guess they decide they're gonna tail him. They're gonna follow his car and stuff like that. And they follow him to like a local recycling plant where he's getting it on with some girl. And I'm like, all I can think of is like, eco-responsibility makes her super hot, I guess. That's why you go to a recycling facility to do it.
Yeah, well, it's so that they can do it, and then they can do it in like slightly different ways later after going through the plant a few times.
Right. And then they leave after they're, I guess,
He chokes her.
eco-responsible. Yes, but she's clearly into it.
Oh no, but I mean, it's not just like they're having sex. Like they're having like it's like borderline like BDSM or whatever.
Right. And but after that's all done, they leave, and he doesn't even give her a kiss goodbye. What a cad.
No. Nothing romantic about him, that's for sure.
So Earl leaves. They get the license plate for the girl who likes to get it on with the recyclables, and then they go back to his place where he offers her a beer. Again, she's in high school.
And also, yeah, so 17 years old. And also, this is the United States where the age is 21.
21.
Not
yeah.
even 19 like it is here. Even then, still a minor. And he says it as if it's like the most casual thing. He's like, "What's your poison? I'm going to have a beer." And then when he says you're not much of a drinker, and she's like, and her beer goes everywhere, it's supposed to be like cute and charming, but I did not find it that way. It was disturbing.
Contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
Oh,
it's at least a misdemeanor.
Well, because his other intentions. Earlier, he answered the door in a towel, and he said, "Hey, you can come in if you want." And then when she said, "No, it's okay, I'll stand out here," he's like, "Well, whatever." So clearly he knows what he's after.
And this is where he finds her photo surveillance. Because she drops her packet of photos that she got developed at the local photo booth.
In the most convoluted way ever. She just picks, for some reason she forgot how to pick up a purse. Just like, whoa, everything fell out.
And so this is the stuff that I went from just noting that she's in high school to noting in all caps with several exclamation points after it, she's in high school, because they do it in his station wagon, not in his shitty, dumpy, rundown rental house. No, in his station wagon in the driveway.
Why?
Right?
First of all, they shouldn't be doing it. But
first of all,
but
second, you have a house.
You have a house, exactly.
That's right there.
I am assuming he has a bed.
If you're gonna commit a felony, at least go into the house.
Wait a second. He doesn't have a car. Because later on in the movie, when she finds a car in his garage, he says, "I don't own a car." So whose fucking car was that?
Her mom's?
Gross.
That's the only thing I can think of.
But she doesn't drive, though. Did they just fuck in some stranger's car?
But they were driving around in that car. That was the car they were driving when they were tailing Earl.
So I guess
he was driving.
What? Okay, that's a definite goof. Go to the IMDb page right now. Submit a goof.
So he says he doesn't own a car.
He does.
They drive around in a car.
Like, the whole thing is that he doesn't own a car. That's why when she sees one in the garage, oh man, Kevin Dillon is getting an email from me.
Or is it okay? Because he did mention borrowing his landlord's car. Was that his landlord's car?
No, because that's the one he says that's in his garage that she finds.
Okay, well, I'm not.
Listen, I think
they put way too much effort into this movie.
They fucked in a stranger's car, and I don't know what they were driving.
Which they stole earlier and went on for a joyride to do their surveillance.
Yep, that's a whole subplot that got cut from the movie.
So then she goes home and cries in the shower and takes off her little silver crucifix because she's unclean now that she's had sex. And this is where I noted, who wrote her character? Pureflix?
Yeah, again, for sure. Also, by the way, her going into the shower and crying is what I would expect a normal reaction would be after you have sex with Kevin Dillon.
he was so bony and jagged.
Ow, my legs.
He went down on me and cut my inner thigh. Jesus. Gross.
Oh, so much stubble.
She is awoken the next morning by Bill Nunn, who drags her from her house to show her a murder scene for some reason.
Why?
Exactly, that's what I have wrote. Why would you take her there?
You can't do that.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
That murder scene don't belong to you.
He says to her, I want to show you what happens to the little girls who stay out all night. I can only assume that she was out super late with Kevin Dillon.
But how does he know that? Oh, okay.
But that's just it. And then this is me.
Okay.
Remember how earlier you were trying to solve some shit with the car?
Right.
This is me trying to solve some shit with this scene. Okay. Then her mom calls Bill Nunn, who is, her surrogate dad since her real dad was killed in the line of duty. And she's super worried about her. She hasn't been home for hours and she should have been home. And it's like 1 a.m. And then she does come home and everything's fine. But then there's a murder that night and he has to get up and he has to go see it. You know what's a really good idea? I'm going to go find her. I'm going to drag her down here out of her bed, still in her night clothes, drag her down to the murder scene and show her what happens to girls who stay out all night. Scene completely cut from the movie.
It's such an unnecessary scene.
Right?
It's at this point where Alicia sees that girl that was with Earl Parkins, and she starts to follow them on her bicycle, but then apparently forgets how to ride a bicycle and just crashes into a dumpster.
She does full on she can't slow down to take a corner.
I had to rewind it because I was like, wait, what happened? Like, why did I miss something? No, she just can't turn.
Doesn't know how to brake.
Oh, man. That's when she goes to the dead girl's sister's house and goes through her underwear drawer.
Finds a rabbit's foot.
Which Earl had. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Then she starts to kind of make this tie together that all these murders are happening on Fridays.
The last Fridays of the month.
Right. And so she goes back to Kevin Dillon's place to complain about the subpar sex before that. It was far too bony and rattly, and she has to pick the lock to get in.
Ain't illegal.
And that's illegal, but what he did was way more illegal.
That's what I meant. His thing.
Okay.
I don't care about the lock picking. What he did was way worse.
So she finds a bag full of bloody clothes and a calendar where he has the last Friday of the month circled in big red circle, to which I wrote, oh, now he is the killer again.
Also, if you're the killer, why do you need a calendar with the last Friday circled?
There's a good chance that you're like, oh, last Friday's coming up, I better get out there and kill some girl.
You know what the easiest way to figure out the last Friday of a calendar? Look at your calendar.
You know what? Don't get too mouthy there, because your secret powers, or your kryptonite rather, is that of the calendar.
But if I had a calendar right here where I could see it,
circle it in red.
I wouldn't need to.
Don't forget.
I wouldn't need to circle anything because it would be right in front of me. I just feel like the last Friday of the month. Like if he's been doing that as long as he has, I don't think you need to circle that anymore.
It's like when should I commit my murders? When all the government checks come out. Circle.
Oh shit! It's check day.
Yeah, gotta get out there and get some killing done.
Maybe able to pick up a bonus.
There you go.
Yeah, he has bleach and glass cleaner and bloody clothes, like you said, and she's freaked out. But then eventually, when he comes home and shit, she's talking out loud to herself, and she's like, "It's just bleach, just glass cleaner. Normal people have these." And I'm like, "No, they don't, Alicia. Not in that way."
Yeah. Let me see what I've got here.
Isn't this where she goes in to see Officer Bill Nunn, and he's basically all like, "Stay off this case, Silverstone."
Yeah, the commissioner's up my ass. The mayor's barking down my neck. I'm gonna bounce you on out of here, bust you down to P cop. Wait a second, you're not even a cop.
But I want you to stop this Nancy Drew bullshit right now.
Because she goes in to tell him about, because she goes into the garage. Because she's kind of hiding from Kevin Dillon. She's still kind of freaked out. She goes into the garage and she sees the blue car, the blue Malibu. from the that creep at the store talked about.
Yes, and she actually goes to tell him about this.
Yeah.
But as she's coming into the police station, they've arrested somebody. This guy, he's like losing his shit. And she talks to the desk sergeant, who says that that guy must have been the killer. He had these previous run-ins with the law and everything like that. And then she where's it? Oh no! Once that's all kind of explained, Kevin Dillon's character then explains why that guy can't be the killer. And I'm like, knowing what I know now at the end of it, actually knowing what I know now the first time I saw him at the pool, why would he come up with reasons for the investigation to continue?
Because the movie doesn't want you to know that he's the killer.
Okay.
There's
All
no
right.
logical reason.
And also you got to hit that 88-minute mark for the for this to be considered a pilot movie.
Yeah, that's right. But instead, she goes to see Earl's trailer trash wife, I guess.
Well, she's she's also the she was also the owner.
Oh, is it that same woman?
Same woman, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so all the while she goes to see her about that, she's also trying to come to grips with the fact that she lost her virginity to a psycho killer.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Yeah.
Better
run away. Yeah.
Very musical episode this week.
You gotta be.
Yeah. I made that Simple Plan reference. We started with Aerosmith. Good stuff.
Aerosmith was here? Fuck, I was late again.
All right, Earl's got the alibi because the lady, the carnival lady, says that he was visiting his mother in a mental asylum because she tried to kill herself. Yeah. So in order to back this up, old Alicia Silverstone has to call the mental institution, or as Patty once called them, Mente Institution Home, where I'll tell you that story, where Earl's mom is, and she is definitely has this confirmed that his mom had a visit from a male visitor that Friday night and that Saturday, so Earl can't be the killer. I found it very rude of the lady working the desk at the Mente Institution Home who just hung up on her.
Yes, I was good. That's it.
No goodbye.
No, she immediately says, yes, there was a male visitor on March 29th, and then click. That's it.
Oof.
She literally might as well have said, hey, I'm no longer important to the plot. You got the information you need. See you later.
Bye, Z. And so then, Alicia's got the math going on. 1 and 1 and 2, 2 and 2 is 4. Figuring what's going to go on, and she's actually, I can't remember what it was she's doing. Somebody asks her actually what she's doing, and she says baiting a trap. So, I mean, as we saw earlier, she is a master baiter.
Oh.
So she knows what she's doing when it comes to baiting a trap. She's a master at baiting traps.
Good Lord. Speaking of masturbating, she goes to accuse Kevin Dillon of, that he's the murderer. And he is so mad and so put off that he literally says, excuse me, I have to go murder someone. Which there's your confession.
That's really more of a confession than than any sort of indignancy.
I wrote down, I was like, this movie's really giving it away this early. Wow.
Okay, so she has also gone to see the other girl, the one that Earl was doing it with, and is kind of talking about what's going on with him, and if she has anything that she can add to it to come and see her. And then we'll put that to the side. They go to the exchange dance, the older brother and one of her friends, the one who was like the loose one who wanted her to get out and do stuff. And while they're wait a second, is that right?
No, it's just before that, because that's why the brother goes with her. because just before that girl that was with Earl shows up to the
yes.
house when Alicia Silverstone's not there, and she just says, "Is there a girl with blonde hair that lives here?
Glasses that lives here."
And then
It's like, in California, you're gonna have to narrow that one down. I feel that if she had gone to like just a house on that street, she might have actually given the message to the wrong person.
Don't know how she found the address either, by the way.
Hmm.
But she flips out and leaves, and then that's when the mother's like, "Yeah, so can you go with your sister to this dance tonight?" Not, "Hey, both of you should not go to anything right now because there was a crazy lady that just asked if a lady with blonde hair lived here, freaked out, and then ran." No, just go chaperone.
Yeah. And then so she leaves, and she goes to the carnival, which we are now being told, because I didn't see any signage before, the name of this carnival is Carnival Magic, which is also a pretty good episode of Mystery Science Theater in one of the new seasons.
The dance is also apparently taking place at what, midnight?
I guess it's like it's dark and it's super late.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. We find out, like, there's a couple of scenes later where she's doing her graduation stuff. So I'm assuming that this is all happening. It's all happening in June.
Mm-hmm.
The last Friday is circled in June on his calendar. Her graduation day is like the Saturday after the last day. And it's like, why is it so dark so early in California in June?
because the dance is at 1:00 in the morning.
There you go.
Because it's like pitch blackout, and I was like, "What is going on? Is this like one of those safegrad things where you just hang out there the whole night?"
Maybe but she does go to the carnival away from the super lame dance, and she's pursued by Matt's brother,
who's just
standing
not as talented.
there.
Just standing there.
I was gonna say who's not as talented, and
I like Kevin Dillon. I like
Kevin Dillon's fine, but if someone said, "Hey, would you rather watch a Matt Dillon movie or a Kevin Dillon movie?" Matt Dillon every goddamn day.
I feel like Matt Dillon overall probably makes better choices film-wise. Kevin Dillon really is like a Johnny Drama.
Yeah. So she climbs the zipper to get away from him because she's now convinced that he's the killer, and to prove that he's not a killer, he slaps her while she's dangling from the ride.
Mm-hmm.
But he does carry her down. He doesn't let her plummet. So,
which, by the way, when he slapped her, there was a very good chance why didn't she fall? I feel like he was only hanging on to her arm, and he slapped her.
If he slapped her hard enough to knock her out, her whole body should have just relaxed, and she would have fallen to her death.
Exactly.
But that didn't happen. He carried her down.
Yeah, and then, of course, like I said, this is the whole part where he's like, "I was terrified up there, but, like, I wanted to save you and stuff."
And then she asks him, why'd you have the last Friday circled on your calendar? And he writes, that's the day of my exams. I took them today, and I passed. I'm a cop now. I'm like, that's not how grading works.
Dude, even
ask anyone who's a teacher. Get Drew. Get him at us on the Twitter. Drew, if your kids take a test that day, specifically a final exam to say that if they're going to pass that class or not, do you have that thing graded and back to them before the end of business that day? I don't think you do you, bud?
Yeah, and that's like a school test, not like a police academy cadet exam. Like, come on.
Citizens on patrol.
Mission to Moscow, etc.
Right. Back in action, their first assignment.
The first one.
Just Police Academy.
Yeah.
The animated series.
Back in the Habit.
That's Sister Act.
Oh, well, same thing.
Okay. They go for some reason to the recycling plant.
Why not?
And find out that the poor girl who was having sex with Earl is dead, and Earl hung himself.
Mm-hmm. And when the cops show up after this, by the way, I said, he just became a cop. They're going to take his badge on day 2.
Right? Well, he actually even doesn't he get called out into he's like, I want to see you in my office tomorrow at 8:00.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, given the twist that Alicia Silverstone figures out, I don't know, a day or two later, they are they have the worst CSI ever.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who would have because she figures out that Earl didn't kill himself because Earl hung himself with a noose around the neck that he could not have tied because of the hand.
Right. And the way she tests that is by using one hand to try to tie like a little rope.
Yeah. I also feel that if Earl was really, given to doing that, he could have figured out a way. But for the sake of this movie, let's not think too much of that.
Yeah.
They're terrible police. Not one of them stopped thinking, that hand of his, I don't think he could have tied a noose. Well, this is clearly a murder, so let's keep this investigation going. No, that's it. Sculpt done.
This looks pretty open and shut to me, Bill. They cut to the graduation ceremony, right? And again, Kevin Dillon is just creepily standing there.
I actually noted, because she goes over to see him after her graduation, to like give him a hug and stuff like that, and I was like, I really wanted that Simpsons nun to be there to say, "Pas de boys."
I wanted Mother Superior to show him, put a hurting on him or something. What's that you say? Oh, hey.
How's it going? Oh, you don't like solving crimes? Well, this is going to be way worse.
Exactly.
This is where Bill Nunn, the detective captain, or head detective or whatever, he goes to visit, is it Sherry or Cheryl, the blonde one that was seeing Earl at the recycling facility?
Oh, God. I think her name was Sherry. Yeah, that makes sense.
Name, not important.
Yeah.
Bill goes to see her dad, and he starts railing off this stuff about, how she was fornicating against the against God and the Savior and stuff. And that's where, again, Bill's like, whatever, just tell me, did she ever, whatever. And
you might say that Bill was having none of that. Right?
Oh, I see what you did there. Doesn't have any kids, but loves making the dad jokes. It's to which I noted, is every NPC in this a fundamentalist?
What am I playing? Red Dead Redemption here?
Right. This is actually one of the first times we get kind of a full shot of Alicia's room. This is where she's putting it together that, Earl couldn't have tied the noose, but we get almost a wide shot of her room, and it looks like she lives in a dorm room.
Mm-hmm.
It's like pretty much what it is.
Probably where they filmed it.
Yeah, but they were shooting it super tight earlier to make it look like just a room in a house, but they for some reason did not do that with this shot. It looked like an institutional room. A dorm, not like, a loony bin or
that would have been. Can you imagine that if that would have been the twist?
It was Shutter Island all along.
I'm not gonna lie. For a second, I was like, because I didn't know what the ending was, but I did remember seeing someone say, "Oh," and then the ending is really stupid and is so dumb, and I was just like, "Oh my God, is she gonna be the killer the whole time?" But alas, it did not happen. Oh, Roxanne is the one that owns the carnival, by the way, because don't they think that she's the suspect now?
Yes, because she trashed her trailer because she found out that Earl was seeing this other girl, the one that died, and so she went nuts in a fit of jealousy and smashed all the stuff on her trailer.
And we never see her again. We just we don't know. We just assume she ran off, I guess. I was expecting to see her body at some point.
Yeah, it would have made some sense, but
no, she just disappears from the film.
Yeah. So now that Alicia, she's put it together. She understands that Earl couldn't have done this. He couldn't have tied it. Clearly, he was murdered, and she now is renewed her suspicion in Kevin Dillon. Does she call the cops to say, "This is what I figured out"? No. It's gonna head to the recycling plant.
Yeah, just head there and
tell my sister. Not gonna tell the cops. I'm gonna tell my little sister.
Mm-hmm. Let's put that burden on my little sister so that if I die, she'll live with that guilt for the rest of her life.
Yeah. And this is where we find out not only we are assured that Kevin Dillon is indeed the serial killer, but he's also a narcissist who's super lazy about his pictures.
Yeah, he took pictures of...
Why does he put his Polaroids in a photo folder that you would get at a photo mart? That's not how Polaroids work. They come right out of the camera and then develop.
I mean, did he not go and get them developed though?
No, because they're Polaroids.
Oh, okay.
You take the picture, the camera spits it out, and then and then someone dies if the movie Polaroid is to be believed.
Nathan, that gotta be coming soon. Head back to that IMDb Goofs page. You got another entry coming up right there.
Yeah. And this also proves that selfies always incriminate you, regardless of whether it's long before the internet was super big.
Yep.
Because he takes a picture of himself with the dead body.
I think kissing her too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and
because it's the only person he could be with that wouldn't complain about the sex, I guess.
About him being super like angular and bony. Then we get our Saw explanation. Where we find out that Kevin Dillon, he might not be the person he says he is, because he did time with Earl, got out of prison, stole somebody's identity, and joined the police academy mission to Moscow.
Earl and I go way back. I did him a favor once. When he got out, he let me borrow his cars. Nice guy, till he fell in love with Sherry. Then he got the idea the world was a beautiful place. I had to teach him a lesson. It was so easy to set Earl up.
Yeah, and then he says, "Hey, Alicia Silverstone, I got you a present." Uh-oh, it's the rabbit's foot from Earl.
He's like, no, we get it. We get it. Kevin Dillon was the murderer of the entire... We don't need the rabbit's foot.
I don't know why they had to over-explain that he planted that in, like, that girl's drawer, like the victim's sister's dresser drawer. Like, yeah, no doy.
Yeah. But, so now that she's gone missing and her mother, again, is worried, we don't see that she called the police, but the police show up, and they get the information out of the little sister as to where she went. And it's Bill Nunn to the rescue.
Oh, I wanted to mention
not.
real quick though, when he's doing the Saw explanation, we see that that girl that got murdered, the whole movie's about. He forced her to go into the mini mart and buy the bleach and glass cleaner for him. So it's like, so not only he's so lazy that he doesn't even buy his own cleaning supplies post murder.
I'm assuming that it's, having been watching a lot of Criminal Minds on Disney Plus.
It's the only place to watch it, yeah.
It's the only place to watch it. That would have been like his signature. The power over his victims is making them purchase their own implements of destruction. He tells this poor girl in middle school that if she goes into the convenience store and buys bleach and glass cleaner, that the clerk will sell her drugs. And that doesn't happen. She leaves, and then the Blue Malibu leaves as well.
I thought, based on what you said about how lazy he was, it struck me as the continuation of that, though.
Yes, that also possibly a thing.
Listen, I'm gonna stab you. Can you just go in that hardware store and buy my knife for me? You better just don't try anything. You better not.
Look, I'm gonna hold that you run at it, all right? Because I cannot be bothered.
I pulled my back out last week, killing this 400-pound man. He rolled over on top of me. Like can I talk to you about my life over the last few weeks? Wait, where'd you go?
Are you Kevin Spacey in Seven? So, as I said, Bill Nunn to the rescue, or not, because apparently malnourished Kevin Dillon has the strength to snap easily 300-pound Bill Nunn's neck. Nope.
And they forgot to add in the sound effect, I think.
Oh yeah, there was no sound effect. All you do is you see Bill Nunn's head snap real hard to the side, and then he falls over like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah. Why is there a broken glass fan on the ground?
It's like the grinder, not the tinder, of the whole place. They send in the glass stuff. That's where it gets kind of ground up. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. So it can be used for recycling. It'll get melted down into silica and recast into glass or something like that.
So what you're saying is Grinder killed the Entourage star.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Not the Tinder.
No.
Well, it's funny because this whole thing where he chases her through the recycling plant and he tries to, like, I don't know, grab her and she kicks him. He goes out and he's dangling over top of this glass mincing machine, and I noted, yeah, fucking do it. Jigsaw him. And I don't mean Jigsaw in the Saw franchise. I mean Jigsaw from The Punisher, because that's exactly what happened to Jigsaw at the beginning of Punisher Warzone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But for some reason, she almost, like, wants to save him. And I'm like, girl, what?
Yeah, she doesn't, though.
No.
And she shows that she's an ugly crier when she does it.
That's okay.
You know what? But before earlier, I was like, it's impossible for Alicia Silverstone to be ugly. And then I saw her cry in this movie, and I was like, no, it's not. It's not. She's a hideous crier. I've noted here, this has been a weird last week of school for her.
She's never going to forget it.
Right?
As we go on, we remember.
Take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang 'em on a shelf and good times.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right.
I hope you had the time of your life. Very musical episode. I'm enjoying it. But yeah, you know what? When everybody signs the that last yearbook is like, oh, it's the times we'll never forget. You know what? 100% that's the case with her. She is never gonna forget the last week of school for her.
This movie, I feel like, should have started like at the end of the movie and then told the story from the beginning after, where she could have been like, "This is my life. It's crazy. You might be asking how I ended up here. Well, let me tell you.
So I just killed my boyfriend, and I was right to do so. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Let's go back to the beginning where it all started. No, 1570 to Paris. Get out of here." But she does find Jesus again, Nathan.
She does, and a rabbit's foot.
She puts them together. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I was gonna be really jaded here and cynical and talk about them both being superstitions, but I'm not gonna offend anybody. But wait a second, I just didn't. Oh shit! Sorry, everyone.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. It was at this point where she's all dressed up in her cadet uniform because she's gonna be a police officer.
This is like, by the way, how much later is this? Because she still looks like she's 17 years old.
I'm assuming it's probably like September-ish because she would be starting up her stuff.
It just looks like she goes, because the movie over explains everything else, and we don't even get a title card that says like a year later or something. And she seemingly is full cop.
Yeah, but when you start up with the police academy, their first assignment, you get dress uniform. It's like any cadet. Like my youngest one, she's in cadets. She's in Army cadets. She's not full on Army, obviously, because she's still in high school. But she does have FTUs, which are like their training uniform, and also a dress uniform that will have like her rank and her name and stuff like that on that. Even though she's not this person. Like, she wouldn't be a full-on cop in this movie. If she is just starting at the academy, they would have issued her a formal dress uniform for, specific days when they have to be in dress uniform for, like, assemblies or, big mucky-muck events at the academy.
I also just think...
I wonder why she had an eye chart. She had an eye chart in that true crime room of hers.
I also just...
Why?
Well, I mean, she's got to make sure she's always sharp, right? Every day. Got to check your eyes.
Right,
that
because of all the masturbating she does.
She probably self-diagnosed herself and wrote her own prescription for her glasses.
There you go.
I gotta wonder though. I feel like being a cop is not her where she would want to go. I feel like she'd want to be a private detective or something. Like I don't think she'd be like a beat cop. That seems weird to me.
That's where you start.
But I like I don't know when like I get that that's like where you start and you go off or whatever. But she seems more into solving the mysteries. I don't know if she's gonna be the best like just a regular cop.
Oh well, I mean, here's the thing. Like
she's a woman, Nathan.
In the 90s too. If the police procedurals that I frequent on the television are anything to be believed, it's the beat cops that help solve the crimes. And if you do well enough as a beat cop, you get to take the detective's exam, which would then give you the opportunity to become a detective.
You might meet David Caruso, folks.
Or, Jason Piquet.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we close out to sort of the Cranberries, but not quite.
The Dingleberries.
The Dingleberries, yeah. Let's name them after those pieces of poop that stick to your butt here.
Yeah, and they sing vampire, vampire.
All right, well, you know what? That's true crime. And Bradley, I gotta ask, man, is this thing worth a watch? Is it a drunk watch with friends? Are you going to attempt some head trauma to forget about it? Or are you going to avoid it like the plague?
So, with the caveat that parts of this are very troubling, and it's kind of disturbing, the relationship at the core of the movie. I think this has a made-for-TV vibe that is pretty funny. Some of the stuff is pretty ridiculous, and I had a few hearty laughs. It's not boring. It certainly moves.
Yeah.
I would say a light drunk watch with friends.
Mm-hmm.
What say you?
I'm actually going to I'm gonna attempt some head trauma to forget about it, because it was an Alicia Silverstone movie that I hadn't seen. She's in much more ridiculous stuff with like The Crush. So yeah, I'm gonna attempt head trauma to forget it. It's not avoid like the plague, but it's not something that I'm gonna be like. I kind of wish that I hadn't seen that, because it kind of even the stuff that she's been in that's been like that's a little ridiculous. I've still enjoyed her. This movie, like I said, with the delivery and the dialogue, it is just bonkers, and I would think that I would probably derive more fun out of a drunk watch of The Crush than I would of this. So, Yep, head trauma.
Yeah, and that's why it's like a light drunk watch for me. Like it's somewhere. It might be even somewhere between those, but there are enough parts where I was chortling.
All right, so I guess that's our kind of a look on it. So if you guys just want to listen to some ads, and we're gonna pay some bills, kick back, relax. We'll be right back.
What were they thinking?
Brace yourselves, winter is coming. What the writers of Game of Thrones didn't want to tell you is that Bran was actually in a wheelchair because he didn't trim his balls with Manscaped. Poor guy thought it was okay to trim his balls with a traditional razor or hair trimmer. Not sure what you want as a gift for the holidays? Well, Manscaped is the ultimate gift, and they're here to change the men's grooming game, and you can get 20% off plus free shipping if you use the code AgeOfRadio at manscaped.com. It's time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving this holiday. I'm talking about the Manscaped Perfect Package 4.0. The Performance Package 4.0 is the best in the business. This hygiene bundle includes the Lawnmower 4.0, Weed Whacker, boxers, travel kit, and liquid formulations. On top of everything, they even throw in the Shed travel bag to carry your goods and the Manscaped anti-chafing briefs to hold the entire package together. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AgeOfRadio at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code AgeOfRadio. It's time to join the Manscaped movement. These products are no joke.
And we are back.
Hey.
It is now time for the low haiku. And, Brendan, if you could just explain to the folks at home what the low haiku is, that'd be great.
Yeah, the low haiku is 17 beautiful syllables, breaking down the movie we just talked about.
Mm-hmm. And I, as the leader on this one, I'm going to invite you to go first, and remember to speak moistly.
Like True Detective, if it were written by folks who ate lead paint.
Very good, very good.
Thank you, Nathan. Do you have some poetry for us as well?
I do, and it actually points to the start that Alicia Silverstone got in the acting biz. Hey, this is crazy. Don't tell me it's amazing. Come on, get a grip.
Love in an elevator, etc.
That was actually from Permanent Vacation.
Yeah.
Or Pump.
Get
it out! Oh! Boom! That's right. NPR gone. We've expended our poetic muse for the week, and we have all said we've had our say in regards to true crime / dangerous kiss / true detective.
I still can't get over that third title.
Right? But you know what? But we like to say something here on this show, and Brandon, what is that thing that we like to say?
Well, we like to say
other than stop touching me there.
Yeah.
Don't take a word for it.
That's right. Don't take our word for it. And also, that's why WWE superstars think that we're married. I should really stop making those jokes.
But we're not touching. God, right. Charles, pay attention.
Anyhow, that's right. Don't take our word for it. Because this is, there's a bit of a disparity in the amount of reviews from the critics versus the audience. But do tell us, Brendan. Give us what did the critics had to say about this thing? What's their percentage?
Well, out of 5 reviews, so not too many. A big old goose egg. 0% of the critics liked this movie.
Okay, but what about the audience, though?
42% of 2,500 plus ratings.
That seems high. But what would we have liked if we watched like this?
Well, if you did for some reason like this movie as any kind of genuine thing, you would also like a movie called New Blood, a movie called Everybody Wins starring Nick Nolte and Deborah Winger, Porky's Revenge, which I don't know how that's supposed to tie in, Mad Dog Time, and the Gene Hackman, Dan Aykroyd comedy Loose Cannons.
I've seen one of those.
Is it Loose Cannons?
It is Loose Cannons. Let's get into some reviews. There's only 5 of them, and I think there's only one that has actual an actual thing that we can read. So if you don't mind, I think I'll take this one.
Go for it.
Michael Dakina from themoviereport.com in 2004 wrote, despite the title, little, if anything in this film rings true. 0.5 out of 4.
Ooh. Snake pit. All right, well, let's take a look at the audience reviews here. What do I got? The first one is from Ida B. And Ida gives it 4 out of stars. Says, this was a fantastic thriller. I had goosebumps when Kevin Dillon's character was about to die and he said to Alicia, Mary, I was inside you. That was freaky. I don't remember that, by the way. And that scene gets me every time. They both did an amazing job with their characters. I loved it. I don't remember that line. Do you remember that line?
I don't, because I think I would have been quite upset by it.
I think I would have said, Nathan, change the movie. JK.
My first one comes from Wes L. And he writes, so this is on Instant, and you should definitely watch it. It's pretty damn funny in how overwrought and melodramatic it is. Arbitrary plot twists, forced awkward sex scenes, and some truly awful acting are also in the cards. There's 2 line readings by Kevin Dillon that are funnier than most comedies. I enjoyed it. 1 out of stars.
Oh, what a twist. What a true crime-like twist at the end. Okay, so this one is from Tanya N, and Tanya gives it 4.5 out of stars. Simply says, interesting crime thriller for the 1990s. Amazing how one event can affect so many people. Tanya, this is not real.
My next one, it comes from Mary B. I can only assume it's Mary J. Blige, and she didn't have room for the J.
I thought it was just the character from the movie.
No, no, because that's Mary G.
Mary G.
Giordano.
Oh, is that her? Oh, wow.
That's her last name.
Okay.
Yeah, I did see it as we got into this, and her name is Mary. So I'm super happy that we were right about that. But Mary B. or Mary J. Blige writes, J. Blige rather, writes, I like how he started off being good, then ended up being the killer. 4 out of stars.
Well, easy to please. I love it.
Yeah.
This is a weird review from Myra F, who gives it a perfect score, 5 stars. She simply says, makes you want to find one of these guys.
What?
I don't know.
That's a cry for help. That's what that is.
I want a Kevin Dillon type in my life, Myra.
She is making some poor life decisions. My next review comes from, I'm assuming, friend of the podcast, Drew Hallam, because it's Drew H. And he's not putting it on blast, but he writes, Alicia trying to do more grown-up stuff, and the result was mediocrity. 2.5 out of stars.
No, let's not put this on Alicia. It was very early in her career. By the way, this movie came out the year after Clueless. She definitely filmed, and it was confirmed, she definitely filmed this movie before she filmed Clueless. Because had she had the level of fame from Clueless, she would have not done this movie, I don't believe.
No, that's for sure.
Say what you will about Batman and Robin, but that was a giant blockbuster.
Yeah, she got paid.
Oh, yeah, she got bank for sure. Okay, my last one is from Moon S. So I don't know.
Mooney Suzuki?
Sure. I'm not doing the voice. Moon S says, great.
It's a band.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know stuff. Moon S says, great plot with a twist. Enjoyed this oldie. 4.5 stars.
Okay. Well, my last one comes from Brian Z. I can only assume it's Brian Zane from Wrestling with Regret. Mm-hmm. To which he writes, pretty good for an older movie. Plot was good and had some scary factors. Kinda. 4 out of stars.
Kinda. But it's a really, not a very confident, glowing review for a 4-star rating.
So, yeah, that's, that was the critics' take on true crime or True Detective or Dangerous Kiss, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, don't take our word for it. But what you should take our word for is this next segment that is near and dear to everyone's heart. It's the dance sensation that's sweeping the nation. It's what are you watching, bud?
So you want to know what I'm watching, bud?
I do.
Well, I just recently. Now I'm gonna just say right at the beginning here. Over the next, I don't know, month or two, my picks I think are all gonna be horror movies because I'm about to watch like 31 movies this month. So, just letting everyone know ahead of time. So this is a horror movie recommendation. It's a movie called We Summon the Darkness. It is a movie that I don't want to say that much about because
nor should you.
No,
it gives away the twist.
Exactly, because there's something early on in the movie that made me appreciate it a lot more because I was not expecting it. But it stars Alexandra Daddario, who probably I've always thought she was pretty good, but in this movie she's really charismatic and really carries the movie. She does a great job. But basically these 3 girls go to a concert and they're just going to go see a band. There's a bunch of guys there that they hang out with, and then some crazy satanic shit happens, and that's all I'm gonna say. But it's great,
Cool.
and you can check it out on Netflix, I believe.
So Netflix, I saw it on Shudder when I saw it.
Okay, it might be on both. I don't remember where I watched it, but it was one of those two. Check one and then check the other. Nathan, what are you watching,
And then
bud?
just, get it back to us. Let us know.
Yeah, we're not gonna check. Just
No, just get back to us and let us know.
yeah.
Well, let's see what I've been watching. I've been watching a fair bit of stuff, a lot of series and things like that. But last night I actually did take the time to check out a new one on Netflix called Kate, and it was worth the watch for sure. There was a lot of fun stuff going on. This international assassin named Kate finds out that she was poisoned before one of the last hits that she's supposed to do, and then of course the rest of the movie is her trying to figure out who poisoned her, why they poisoned her, and everything like that. So it's kind of like DOA meets Crank,
Yeah.
but smarter.
Okay. I've heard of this movie. I know I've seen it advertised on Netflix, so I'm glad to hear that it's entertaining.
There's some really cool fights. It's set in Japan. There's some really, really cool, like, not just gunfights, but actual, like, full on, like, martial arts type stuff. They don't kind of spit on the intelligence. Like, people who are Japanese are talking to other people who are Japanese in Japanese.
What a concept.
Right? Woody Harrelson's there. He does a really good job.
Japanese actor Woody Harrelson, yes.
Japanese actor Woody Harrelson. It's fun. Some of the stuff that happens in it is pretty predictable, but it can be forgiven because it is very visually pleasing as far as like the neon nightmare that is, middle of the night Japan can be. And like I said, the stylized fight choreography is pretty sweet as well. Give her a go. Kate on Netflix.
And I just looked, and I'm already sold because Mary Elizabeth Winstead is the lead, so I'm in.
Yes. Yeah.
She's great.
Couldn't remember her name. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're watching, bud.
Cool. Is Montrose there to say a few things? I'm sure he has some thoughts on the genre of true crime.
I'm sure he does. If we just get him here in just a moment. Hello! It's your good friend Montrose Munkington III here, and I don't know. I will say this, that this true crime that you chaps watched this week, it does seem more compelling than the current WWE product. I'm not going to lie. But I digress. If you would like more of my thoughts on that, you can see my YouTube channel, Montrose Munkington TV. If you feel like atting me in regards to that discussion, you can do that on Twitter at Montrose the Third. That's number 3RD. Or if you would just like to, message, me on the Facebook as well, you can do that on my Facebook group, Montrose Munkington the Third Esquire and Friends. Yes. And that's where you can find me. Thank you. More later.
Well, thank you, Montrose.
You're welcome.
We're also on all the stuff. We're on all the Twitter bots and all that shit. You can find us on Twitter at WWTT Podcast. We're of course on Facebook. Just search for us there. Our home base is Age of Radio.
Big time.
You can find us on all the podcast apps as well. We're everywhere. We're on Redbubble, TeePublic, Patreon. Give us a follow. Just give us some attention.
Get at us, bro.
We just want attention. That's all we're after. But other than that, I just want to mention, I don't know, we don't really mention these too often, but it really sucks. At the time of this recording a few days ago, of course, Norm Mcdonald passed away, and I just wanted to mention that real quick.
I would like to say in his honor, crack whore.
One of my, I didn't even know one of, I think it was my favorite comedian, just subversive, doing things that people didn't see coming. I mean, if you want to watch pure Norm Macdonald, look up any talk show appearance he ever did, or look up the time he was at Bob Saget's roast. It is quite possibly the greatest thing.
Brilliant.
Most brilliant thing I've ever seen in comedy. It's so good. It really sucks. He was great. But I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I have questions about this movie.
Oof. Well, I'll do my best, my friend. Let me put on my my deer stalker, get my magnifying glass out,
Okay.
and see if I can solve this for you.
Okay, well, in a movie in which the title "True Crime" is referring to a murder, but I think it refers to a statutory rape case.
Right.
In a movie again, Alicia Silverstone, she was 16 when this movie was made.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little hung up on that. But in a movie in which, man, it's just so Kevin Dillon is resembling Skeletor more than Kevin Dillon.
Right.
Can you imagine if Matt Dillon was in this movie? Anyway, I digress. In a movie in which you can predict the ending at minute 15.
Yep.
In a movie, and again, so creepy. I just gotta ask,
What's that?
what were they thinking?
Sunday afternoon, there's something special. It's just like another world. Jogging in the park is my excuse to look at all the little girls. I'm not a flasher in a raincoat. I'm not a dirty old man. I'm not gonna snatch you from your mother. I'm an art lover. Come to daddy. Oh, come to daddy. Come to daddy. Pretty little legs, I want to draw them like a Degas ballet.